So you have to understand their trigger mechanisms. I would have to say also trauma is a huge one. Uh, so when people are experiencing PTSD, in their experience of PTSD, what are they doing? They are allowing their master ability of recall to play against them. They're playing a tape. Some of you probably this was said in one of our Friday training sessions remembers that when the Lama was 17 and it was 6 months before I moved to New York City, before I met the Lama master, is that I was on the way home one day and a lot of us, the swim team, had been to the springs in North Florida called Itchitucknee Springs, and you park your car at one end of the stream, and 7 miles later you park the second car. You get on inner tubes and you float down and you scuba dive a little bit, and it's spring water. So I mean, it's really, really cold. It's coming down the mountains, right? And on the way home, my friends that were part of our high school swim team, their tires were definitely way too bald. And it just started to rain on a hot summer August day in Florida. And if you know, it's easy to plane when the asphalt's really hot and that first rain hits. They hit a puddle of water, and this old Chevy Impala went head on to a VW bump. My best friend was killed instantly in that time. And I remember as I was driving up to take my two younger sisters and a friend to safety and then head back where the rescue was coming to help pull friends from this. I remember my mind, the video in my mind was going over and over and over and over again. Now, see, most people see this as a power out of control. You better believe if you've experienced some of the horrors like our blessed military people who give their life for the freedom of their country have, it's complete. They don't know how to turn it off. What they don't understand, this is a power that you actually have. And in Tai Chi Gong, we learn to harness that power, and we use the recall to benefit us. And that first trauma or PTSD also not only records this violent moment, but it also opens up the lens of the camera. And the lens of the camera, once you learn to control it and turn it on and off, does what? Pushes back the veil of unconsciousness. Now, that being said, Tai Chi Gong is dealing with three brains and not two. You go, what do you mean, Lama, three brains, right? So we all know that we have the analytical side on the left hemisphere of the brain, and we have the creative side on the right hemisphere. Now, it could be explained in a different way. I could say the left is the parental brain, and I could say the right is the childlike brain, right? But what happens when the two brains get together and they form what's called in scripture Jacob's ladder or the infinity sign, or basically we refer to it as the figure eight? So when both hemispheres are electromagnetically firing at the same time, it gives birth to a third brain that only happens like it happens in the rest of nature. When mother and dad kind of get together, they kind of produce a baby, right? Well, the third brain, an ancient city yoga that is rooted in the brainstem, the medulla oblongata, has the ability to increase the frontal lobes of the brain. And scientists all agree that children today are being born with larger frontal lobes than they were. Another sign of the awakening, right? But it takes electrical charges to activate Jesus's second birth, born of the fire of the Father. What happens is that brain was not only meant for motor skills and modus operandi with our body, it was made to also take us into second birth and develop the brain that occupies, well, the other 85% of the brain that Albert Einstein says is asleep in people, Jimmy. So Tai Qigong is also given to humanity to activate the fetus brain and make it awake and come into maturity.